Welcome back to the third quarter of the BOBBY003 Show. We do it in 4 quarters, and we give you a little 1-minute break there for some of our good sponsors. And we have a couple more sponsors to do it our end over here.
I can definitely handle that. How about the Quarters Casino? Go by the Quarters Casino right here just north of Opelousas at exit 23, where you can get some good Chevron fuel. That's gasoline and diesel. Well covered, well lit, good concrete to keep your feet nice and clean. You can go inside and eat at the Mexican Cantina inside, El Pico de Gallo. Great Mexican authentic food. You can get Subway sandwiches inside the convenience store, crispy crunchy fried chicken, and some good Stuckey's old-time candy inside the convenience store as well. And don't forget about gaming.
And while you are there across the street, you could go over to the St. Landry Tourism Office, a beautiful facility that opened a couple of years ago. A lot of you have never had the opportunity to go, so you can make a double whammy trip there.
The building itself is sort of something to admire itself with the way it's made, and it's green and environmentally friendly.
They've won some nice awards on state, probably southern region basis, so you can get to see the tourism, and you get some good service and products at the Quarters.
And Carl's Thrift Away. Go by Carl's over here. Their pharmacists have time to sit with you. Maybe you went through that doctor's office and got that prescription and didn't have time to ask all those questions you're curious about. Their pharmacists will sit with you and explain to you, what to expect with these medicines you're taking. They can compound multiple prescriptions to make them easier for you to take. They've also got a great gift section, home decorating section. They'll even make customized wreaths and decorations for you at your home. They even go out to your house to do that as well. Go by Carl's Thrift Away here in Opelousas.
On the death side, a person who died, well, that was on the 10th of July, a few days ago. Today, the program is being viewed on the 25th of July, Thursday the 25th. So 15 days ago, 2 weeks ago, a person that many of us knew her from her KSLO days as a young person. She and Renee Fontenot at KSLO, and I'm speaking of Mabel Saunier Savoie. And Mabel had a real good voice, very talented on stage and on a mic doing radio work. And she passed away, and I had it and just didn't get to it, one of those things. But just wanted to pass that on to all of her friends. She had been living away from here, and La Fawn Ordwine Funeral Home here in Opelousas did hold her services. And the Orphan Train gathering was held recently. We talked about it a number of times, it being held, and it was held a couple of Saturdays ago, and the attendance was real good. Very interesting. Miss Bernard, the oldest living orphan train rider in Louisiana, was in attendance again at age 97, I think it is.
What they think is probably the last rider is what they think that's left.
Yeah, in Louisiana anyhow.
Right.
Yeah, so she looks real good. I saw where Martin Roy gave a little talk on his experiences. His father was one. His father, funny how I remember that name. Arvin was his name that he was given at the orphanage in New York City. And Arvin radio used to be a major brand of radios, and I'm just wondering if there was any connection there. And to all of those, Miss Flo Inhern, of course, she's the leader of the group. She pops the whip, and everybody jumps in and
used to keep all that memorabilia stacked up at her house, nice and neat, because she knew one day, she said, that's all going to go in the museum when we get our museum.
And she was dead set on it and got it going, and it's a beautiful facility. If you haven't been, there's no cost to anything. Go by and visit, and of course I have a special interest because my father was one of the orphan children that came down. He was probably 2-3 years old when he made that long trip from New York City to Plaisance, Louisiana, and found a good home, I might add. Good home, good parents, good family. Our our cousins, uncles, aunts. He was blessed, and of course, that gave the blessing, passed that blessing on to us.
We've got the St. Landry Ability Softball Tournament coming up Saturday, August 3rd and Sunday, August 4th over at Veterans Memorial Park in Port Barre. If you're interested in registering your team, you can contact Toria Valancomo at 319-2036 or Susie Abear. Or give a call over to the town hall. I think Toria works over at the town hall, and give her a holler. Or go to Facebook at stlandryabilities.com.
This past Monday, like every Monday, the Advocate, the newspaper produced over in Baton Rouge, I've been a subscriber ever since Mr. Cortez, Wilfred Cortez, became the distributor of the newspapers. He delivered them into the Lafayette, all of Acadiana back in those days. He had several trucks that would make that run every day. And of course, that's Glenn's daddy. I'm talking Glenn Cortez's father. And I look forward to the what section is this? Section D. On the back page of Section D, every Monday, there's some article reference to something that's either a place or an item of interest of Louisiana. And
it's part of their educational services department.
I guess that's what they would call it. And it is very educational, and I save them, and I guess others do the same. The article this past Monday was reference to the fleur-de-lis. It has a long history. In fact, the symbol was found by the Assyrian statuary. What is that?
An Assyrian statuary would be
like a record?
A statue, and Assyria would be somewhere in the Middle East.
And
that's the best way to say it.
That was found around 3,000 years before the birth of Christ. So kind of very familiar, very famous. But we tied to the French. It goes back in the French, and then of course it's our heritage. It's the symbol of our state, the fleur-de-lis, and of course the New Orleans Saints made it famous again. You know, it's had 3,000 years before Christ, it was famous, and then they had different stages of its life. It was in France, and other parts all over the world, actually. And then, of course, the Saints have really made it popular again, well known again, and it's a good story. In fact, I've got to say, Matt, you said you wanted to read this, and
fleur-de-lis, that's what it means. Fleur is flower, and lis would be a lily, so it'd be a lily, or it also looks like an iris. So you also see it a lot in religious paintings when Gabriel meets with the Virgin Mary. Almost every painting, he hands a lily or an iris to her, and it's a lot of times you see that symbolism with the Virgin Mary. So
good.
Get your history lesson.
We'll go back to a few pictures, Matt. We have a few left of the Bi-State Fishing Rodeo, which was held this past weekend. And I had a blast. It was really fun. Not a whole lot of fish. The person on the right, of course, we were talking about him, and that was Russell Artigo, and we spoke about Night All Tour, where he works. And this is Tommy on the right, and that would be Benny Desatel on the left. And on the right is Harold Guidry receiving his new T-shirt from his partner. Well, this is not his partner, but from the person handing out the T-shirts. And this is Toby Berwick, Big Butch Berwick. That's his father. This is Butch's son.
Fancy T-shirts this year.
Yep, fancy. They fancy every year.
Look how pretty
and
up there.
These are different sunsets, and I showed you where I was taking them from. And this bird sat there the whole time we fished. We fished there for probably an hour and a half or more, and very few fish caught. The first time that Joe Ramey threw his line out, he caught a fish. He brought the fish in. He threw it out, caught another one, and I don't know if we caught another one for the next 2 hours. But here's Jerry again. Look like this. The picture, the whole, he must have been standing in front of the camera the whole time. No, Jerry's a real fun guy, and this is his friend that they do business together over in the Laredo, Texas area, and this is Richard. And of course, this is an award being given to Big Russell Ortego.
The large flounder.
That's Butch on the right presenting, and that's Mark Tolson, Jack's young son, Mark.
With the Redfish Award.
And this is Jeff Weinstein.
And we got
Harold Guidry receiving. And this Sportsman of the Year was Sheriff Bobby Guitro, who was not able to be there. He was attending a seminar out of state. And this is Jerry again, and that shirt says El Presidente. And this is the Louisiana side didn't have their awards ready when we held ours in May, so we're giving them out, and Terry Fontenot is doing the duties on the Louisiana side, and this is Judd here. Judd Adams, and this is Alan. Remember I talked about the man on the other side of the bay that lives there? That's big, he lives there, and that's Jerry receiving an award from our Louisiana side. And this is George. George, real nice guy. Sat with him and spoke with him quite a bit. He's in the contracting business.
Well, look at all the little rigs. Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back to back. Man.
Some of the earliest oil located in Texas.
Shallow wells.
Is right along this strip right here, High Island.
There's the canal.
And that's the Intercoastal Canal, by the way.
The boats going by.
I had to take that and show it.
And that's Winnie, that's Altiz. He's from Eunice, isn't he?
I think so. Boy, he had a program on one of these stations for years and did a great job. And this is Miss Deidre Gogarty. And she's, of course, she's married, and I can't think of the, but she's working on, by the way, she's in Kansas where Bo brought 2 or 3 of maybe a half a dozen of his amateur boxes over to the largest tournament of the year, amateur tournament of the year. And of course, Brandon Harvey, my new little friend that I met over at the governor's games here in Sunset.
Young boxer from the Mamu area.
Mamu area. Brandon is one of them that's going, and hopefully y'all be pulling, saying a little prayer at night for Brandon. Real fine young fella, and in fact, he said that Pam, who does a program here on our TV station.
Pamela Kay?
Yep, Pamela Kay. She was his teacher.
Really?
And I think it was the 8th grade English class. In Mamu, Louisiana, and Deidre, of course, is doing research and is coming out with a documentary this fall. So right around the corner, we'll be able to see a lot of her.
How about this photo? We got a picture that got sent in to our friend from Larry Longlanay.
Who, by the way, we had thought he had dropped off.
Yeah, we both talked about it the other day. Where is he at? But he had a problem. Email, when he updated his email addresses, he got our email address wrong. But he got it straight now. They were down in South Haven, Mississippi at a filling station at the Harley shop. And there were 21 folks that rode from Chicago all the way to Chicago and Milwaukee on a 9-day trip, and they toured the Harley-Davidson Museum up there. And that's the whole big group all together in Mississippi having a good time. So, Larry, don't be a stranger. Keep sending us emails so we know what's going on.
Let us know
we had
what's
word
going
about
on
you,
around
man.
New Iberia, and I still never got that invite to visit that beautiful downtown home.
Yeah, gotta get us in that little...
What was his name?
Little townhouse that they had. I forget who it is.
Yeah.
But
he's Gordon.
There you go.
Gordon Doyle. Gordon Doyle.
You got it. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and then we're going to come back for the last quarter. We want to thank you all for watching, and folks, we'll see you on the other side of 1.